Kyagulanyi like 3 times on his mode of campaigning. They have never done but he doesn't listen to them. So the police, and in most of those meetings were being attended by senior police officers, agreeing on what to do. So nobody is saying, yes, we know we're going to win, but we don't want other people to campaign. No, but you must campaign in an orderly manner. How come many of the other candidates have been campaigning? Semuju is here. Semuju has been campaigning.
Arrested 3 times.
But Semuju also many times in discipline. You know yourself. That's a fact also.
You are saying yes, but I've been arrested 3 times.
But you have been campaigning.
Moses, if you have an exchange with
Semuju,
it's not good to have an exchange with Semuju because then you have your microphone.
Yeah, he hasn't been stopped from campaigning, but where he has gone wrong, he has been arrested and released.
Okay. So my next question to you, Moses, is to do with journalists who are also unhappy because they are not being allowed to work. And then as I go back to what I put to him about the accreditation, there's one I know already who's been denied accreditation, the NTV man, Kawesa. So will there be an attempt to allow journalists to observe elections, journalists to report on the elections?
Journalists in my opinion, will be free to report on elections, especially the local journalists. The international ones has to go through a process which of knows better than myself. But the local ones don't have, must be able to, like they will be reporting on the rallies, or whatever you're talking about, whether it was being arrested or otherwise, they were being reported by journalists. Otherwise, if there was no journalist, we never have seen any film, any video clip, you never have seen it. If the journalist was not covering campaigns. So if you're talking about election day coverage, but the journalists have been covering all these rallies throughout since they started. Now, if you're talking about election day, unless the EC comes with guidelines, but normally what judging from the past, what the EC tells the special radios, not start announcing elections, because that can be manipulated. I can go and say, Semuju has won with 40,000 votes. And then Semuju maybe is number 2. Then when they announce Ofono Pondo, some people said, but our person won. What is happening? So the idea that the election results must be announced by the Electoral Commission. Your journalists are reporting.
They are only declared, but they can be announced at the polling station.
Well, the election announcement, they are different, but the difference is so thin that it can be mistaken for the other.
Stop heckling.
I am giving him information.
You are heckling because you are being aggressive. So the idea there is leave the declaration of who the winner is of the results of the Electoral Commission.
You are right.
But if you're going to declare that Semuju has won, and then tomorrow he hasn't won, because it's not easy for the NMD house to have all the agents at all polling stations to be able, even though you had it, it will be illegal for you to declare who the winner is. So, but covering election, I don't think the journalists
shouldn't be a problem.
Shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem, really.
Right. Okay.
But besides, as I wind up on this one, this ban on campaigns in the cities, in urban areas, President Museveni was scheduled to have a rally, campaign meeting in Greater Mukono on Monday, 28th, that was Mukono, Kayunga, Wikwe, and Buvuma. On Tuesday, 29th, was scheduled to have one in Wakiso. On Wednesday, he was scheduled to have one in Kampala. All these were stopped. And he went and said, me, I have been being orderly and organized like the way EC had advised us to do. But because others have been in discipline, that's why Bamukwatiramu sent a list. So, not that we was any fear of anybody, that, this is a big fear. It was because of I think, the indiscipline these people had shown in places which are less populated than here. Because you can imagine if somebody going to Ichikubo, I want to organize a rally to address people there, what happens? There's already too much people in Ichikubo.
So let him finish.
So, if somebody, if they had been organized, we are holding our rally, our meeting of 200 people in this place, gazetted place. But for them, their mode has been, you are on the road, you stop without talking. So in President Kampala, we're going to have chaos. There's no doubt about it.
Thank you, Oo. Thank you, Moses Ferhanga. I'll now let you go because you wanted to shoot off at this time. Thank you for your contribution on gang. So, Ohonopono, you've heard from Moses Ferhanga that journalists should be allowed to work, and you're the Uganda Media Center boss. If journalists are unhappy to the point of saying, can we walk out at a particular press conference, and then we find that one of them who's been shouting out about journalist rights is not even getting accreditation, should journalists worry?
Well, first of all, I wanted to make this point. Perry said that this kind of campaign mode favors incumbents like Semuju, who's doing his 10 years, than new entrants.
True.
If indeed you observe the NRM primaries as you said, you would have noticed that close to 54% of the NRM incumbents, including 16 ministers, lost the primaries of the NRM to completely new entrants, much younger people with little money, financial resources. So it is not 100% correct to say new entrants. Well, so I'm just giving you that as a given, really. Yeah, that it is still possible, even with this campaign mode, for new entrants to make their mark. Now, the issue of fearing certain candidates. This is not the first election we are having where some people claim that they are being feared by either Museveni or by the NRM. This is the 6th general election we are having. And at each of these elections, these kind of narratives have been driven by certain people who believe that they are so popular. You remember somebody once bragged that he had 90% of the support in the army and security services. Only 2016, somebody who had been the Secretary General of NRM, you people clapped for him and you said he knew the inside of the NRM. He's the one who he was the brain of the NRM. And once he goes, you said he was being feared. The results in all these elections have come out decisive in favor of Museveni and in favor of the NRM. So we fear nobody. Yes, in addition to the indiscipline of these few candidates, there have been obviously mistakes made by particularly law enforcement agencies, which makes the ordinary observer not distinguish whether the police is acting just unprofessionally, or they are being directed by a sitting president who is also a candidate. I want to say that the president has been on record to express his dissatisfaction with policing, both during elections and outside elections. Some of the conduct of the police officers against these candidates make them acquire undue attention, undue media publicity, even international sympathy, and sometimes votes. But it will never be decisive because that's a temporary wave. We would really urge law enforcement officers to handle these people with an even hand so that they don't get undue attention, especially to the detriment of the NRM and President Museveni. And I am the chairman, by the way, and I've said this on this show before, I'm the chairman of the subcommittee of the National Security on Media, Politics and Security. We meet every Thursday. In that meeting, we have incorporated representative of the journalists, NAP, National Association of Broadcasters. It involves the people who are seconded to my committee, includes the legal advisor of NAP, includes the general secretary of NAP, and somebody who represents the digital media platforms. We meet every Thursday, where issues of infraction, bad working relationship between the media and the security people, especially in the field, are raised. And we try as much as possible to handle many of the things outside the public view. Yes, there has been continuous police arbitrariness, in my view, in the field. And so officially, no, the government, the police, the security services encourages good working relationship in the field with the journalists. Unfortunately, in a few instances, and you have seen particular journalists from particular media houses, I think they have become embedded with their candidates. Obviously, yes, you are free to embed yourself with their candidate. They have become so passionate, sometimes to the point of being obstructionists to law enforcement. Because if the police is asking people to disperse, why would you, the journalists, try to prevent the action of the police? You have seen a few of these journalists who have been who have
started sounding like a nanga.
Who have received the wrath of the police, who have been injured, who have been what? You have seen that they have been at confrontation with the police. Majority of them that have been injured or arrested even, they have been at confrontation with the police. But our advice to the media is, don't be part of the story.
So you can,
yes, you can. I don't think they are victims. They have planned that way because I think that's what sells for them. That's what makes them. And you have seen some fringe journalists have now become prominent because of the way they deal with the police. Our advice to them and their media houses is that let a journalist not be part of the story. You can still cover the story while respecting the guidelines of the police. That's really the bottom line. Now, the journalists walking away, first of all, it is their freedom. We don't compel any journalist to come and cover government, to come and cover election, to come and cover functions at the media center or media conferences of government officials. And so, if for some reason you are aggrieved and you want to walk away, come to the media center. By the way, in that particular incident, I picked the information from the media people themselves the evening before. They even gave me the list of the names of the ringleaders who were planning the walkout. And I said, let them come in, let them, at the start of the press conference, let them walk out if they want. Otherwise, we knew them. I could have said, don't come. But I said, you come. I want to demonstrate to the public that you can walk out on the CDM. Even
walkouts are planned. Okay.
The other one is that the people who walked out, yes, they were expressing solidarity, which is acceptable with their colleagues who had had a rough time in the field. Going forward, we have been engaging the media houses, we have been engaging the media fraternity, and we hope this kind of walkout, the concerns that led to the walkout will not rise again during this election cycle.
Okay.
Now, the accreditation, first of all, every journalist in Uganda by law, our journalist statute 1995 requires that a practicing journalist for a media house should be of a certain qualification, should be registered. And so the Media Council had been sleeping on the job, and the media houses have also been sleeping on the job. Some journalists are not accredited and are not registered. For this particular purpose, we are asking through the Electoral Commission that if you want to be a judge to cover the election, particularly the polling day, you want to be admitted at the polling station, inside the polling station. You want to be admitted in the tally center at the district. You want to be admitted at the National Tally Center. Please register so that we know who's who. Are you an election observer? Are you an agent of the candidate? Because even, by the way, this is a requirement of the law. Even an agent of the candidate, you don't just stand up at a polling station and say, I am an agent of Semuju. Semuju must write to the returning officer of that area that you are, or the register that you are going to be them. And so it is really limited to the official polling centers of the Electoral Commission. But
we stop for a break.
Of course, for covering President 7, we
after the break, we start
to
with
be operated for obvious reasons.
Thank you all.
The Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM.